Welcome back to Token Trends Weekly, everyone. I'm Max Ledge, your guide to the world of crypto. And today we're diving into something pretty glamorous, blockchain and luxury.
Oh, yeah.
Joining me to unpack all of this is the insightful Sasha Coin.
Thanks for having me back, Max. I'm really excited to dive into this one.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now, when we think of luxury, we think of those high-end brands, right? The really exclusive stuff. Maybe even a little bit of mystery around how it's all made. But what happens when that world meets blockchain, this technology that's all about transparency and tracking?
It's such a fascinating intersection. For those of you listening who are new to crypto, imagine a digital record that's basically impossible to tamper with.
Okay.
That's blockchain in a nutshell. So every step in a process, like let's say the journey of a diamond, from the mine to a beautiful necklace, it all gets recorded on this blockchain. Think of it like a super secure digital trail.
So instead of just taking a brand's word for it, you could actually trace that diamond's entire history.
Exactly.
See where it was mined, how it was cut, maybe even who set it into that necklace.
Yeah, exactly. And that's incredibly powerful for luxury goods because, counterfeiting fake products, it's a huge problem in the industry, costs them billions. But with blockchain, you have this undeniable proof of authenticity.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're spending a lot of money on something luxurious, you want to know it's the real deal, right?
Yeah.
But it's more than just avoiding fakes. What other ways is blockchain kind of shaking things up in the luxury world?
Well, think about this. A lot of luxury brands are built on heritage and craftsmanship, right? They have these amazing stories to tell about where their materials come from, the traditions behind their designs, the skills of their artisans. But how do they prove those stories are true?
Right.
Blockchain gives them the tool to actually show, not just tell.
So it's like adding this extra layer of trust and transparency. And, consumers are getting more and more conscious these days about sustainability and ethical sourcing.
Yeah.
So knowing exactly where something came from and how it was made, that becomes part of the luxury experience itself.
Absolutely. It's like saying knowledge is power. The more you know about your luxury purchase, the more you can appreciate its true value. It's not just about the object anymore. It's about the entire story behind it. And blockchain is the key to unlocking that story.
Okay, so we've got the basic idea. Blockchain acts as this super secure record keeper that can verify authenticity, trace origins, even tell the story of a luxury item.
Yeah.
But are any brands actually using this? Is this just a cool concept, or is it happening in the real world?
It's definitely happening, and in some really innovative ways. One example that comes to mind is Richemont, the group that owns brands like Cartier and Montblanc. They're using blockchain to register their designs, essentially creating a digital fingerprint for each one. It's like a super fast patent system.
So instead of waiting months or even years for a patent to be approved, they can protect their intellectual property almost instantly. That's pretty game-changing for an industry where designs are everything.
Exactly. It streamlines the process and adds a whole new level of security against counterfeiting. But it's not just about protecting designs. Some brands are using blockchain to create completely new experiences for their customers. Take Tiffany Co, for example. They launched NFTs, which are basically NFTs tied to physical pendants.
Okay, now we're getting into some next-level stuff. NFTs in the luxury world. Break that down for me.
Think of it this way. You buy a beautiful Tiffany pendant, and you also get a unique digital token, an NFT that's linked to it. The token acts as a digital certificate of authenticity. But it can also unlock other perks like exclusive online content or even invitations to special events.
So it's like a VIP pass to the Tiffany world, all thanks to this little digital token.
Exactly. It's about offering something extra, a digital layer of exclusivity that enhances the ownership experience. And it's not just Tiffany Hublot, the watchmaker, partnered with the artist Takashi Murakami to release NFTs that gave buyers the chance to purchase ultra-rare watches. Unsurprisingly, those sold out instantly.
It sounds like NFTs are becoming the ultimate status symbol in the luxury world. You're not just buying a product, you're buying into a whole experience, a community. That's pretty cool. What other examples are out there?
Well, Prada is doing something interesting with their fine jewelry line. They're embedding NFC chips into their pieces, and when you scan the chip with your phone, it brings up a digital product passport.
A passport for a piece of jewelry. I'm intrigued. Tell me more about that.
It's basically a digital record of everything about that piece, from the origin of the materials to the artisan who crafted it. You can see ethical sourcing certifications, learn about the design inspiration, even get care instructions.
It's like giving the jewelry a voice, its own unique story that you can access anytime. That's pretty powerful, especially for consumers who care about transparency and sustainability. And this is all so fascinating. But I have to wonder, what's next? Where does blockchain go from here in the luxury world? Are there any potential downsides we should be aware of? It does feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
Hmm.
So what's next for blockchain and luxury? What are some of the big opportunities, but also are there any, potential downsides we should be aware of?
Yeah, great question, Max. When we think about the future, the possibilities are pretty mind-blowing. Imagine a luxury fashion brand creating a virtual world, a metaverse where you can attend fashion shows from your living room, try on digital clothes, even interact with designers, all powered by blockchain, of course.
Wow, a metaverse for fashion. That would
Yeah.
be incredible. But let's talk about those potential downsides. You mentioned earlier that there might be some challenges.
Right. One thing to consider is scalability. As more brands and consumers adopt blockchain, can the technology handle all those transactions? We're talking about potentially millions of luxury items being tracked and authenticated on a global scale. It's a technical hurdle that needs to be overcome.
So it's a question of whether the technology can keep up with the demand as this whole space grows. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, there's the environmental impact. Some blockchain systems, especially older ones, use a lot of energy. That doesn't really fit with the image of luxury being sustainable and ethical. Thankfully, newer systems are much more energy efficient, so it's about choosing the right technology for the job.
That makes sense. It wouldn't be very luxurious to contribute to environmental damage in the name of innovation. What other challenges do you see?
Another big one is regulation. The rules around blockchain and NFTs are still being figured out, and they can vary from country to country. For global luxury brands, that can be a real headache.
Right, because you have to make sure you're complying with all the different laws and regulations in every market you operate in. That sounds complex.
It definitely can be. And then there's the challenge of preserving what makes luxury, well, luxurious. Blockchain is all about transparency and decentralization, but luxury is often about exclusivity and a carefully curated experience.
So how do you balance those two things?
Yeah.
How do you make sure blockchain enhances the luxury experience rather than taking away from it?
That's the key question, Max. It's about finding the right balance.
Yeah.
Using blockchain to tell richer brand stories, offer more personalized experiences, and deepen that connection with the customer, but without sacrificing the essence of luxury.
It's like blockchain is another tool in the luxury toolbox. It's not about replacing the traditional values. It's about amplifying them in a new and innovative way.
Exactly. And for our listeners, I think the takeaway is this: be informed and be curious. Ask questions, do your research, and understand how blockchain is changing the things you buy and the brands you support.
Great advice. This has been such a fascinating conversation, Sasha. I feel like I've learned a ton
Yeah.
about how blockchain is transforming the world of luxury.
Me too, Max. It's an exciting space to watch.
Absolutely. A huge thanks to Sasha Coyne for joining us today. And to all our listeners, if you want to keep exploring the fascinating world of crypto, make sure to subscribe to Token Trends Weekly. We'll be back next week with another deep dive. Until then, stay curious.